Welcome everyone. Thank you for clicking on the video today. In today's video, I will just show you where you can find the Milady Light Sword. For a lot of us, it was the first weapon that we got in the DLC. It is also a new weapon type. It's a light greatsword. In this video, I'll just show you where you can find this sword, the Ash of War that goes with it, which is the Wing Stance Ash of War, and Rellana's Cameo, which really helps boost the damage of the Ash of War. So now that we're done with that, I'll just show you where to get the Milady Light Greatsword from. From the castle front side of Grace, just follow the steps. Just go up another set of steps. You'll get attacked by a troll giant here. Very similar to the base game trolls. You just have to run around them and keep attacking them. Not a very complicated enemy. We're gonna go up here, get this guy. And then we'll just go up the ladder. And we'll come across a chest which will have Milady. So now that we have Milady, we're going to go get Rellana's Cameo. It's a talisman that helps you increase damage if you're holding a stance for 1 second. Right, like this. You hold it for a second and then you get 15 to 45% more damage with your Ash of War. We're going to come up on a knight here. I'm not a big fan of these knights. I especially hate this shield bash attack. But thankfully I get some invincibility frames. Gonna get that side of Grace. And then follow on to get Rellana's Cameo. Fight these enemies on the bridge. Funny thing, there's the dog/wolf ahead and it always gets the first hit. And I know it's there, but I can never avoid it. There'll be a Moonrathil Knight here. I've already beaten him, but it's a fun fight. And on the altar in the chalice, you'll find Rellana's Cameo, sorry. Now we're gonna go get the Wing Stance Ash of War. Gonna power through these sorcerers. There's a noble throwing glintstone sorcery at us. We get this knight. This place reminds me of Stormvale Castle. If you take the side door from Gostock and you come up with a staircase like this as well with an enemy that would always drop you. Just gonna get through this knight. Then we're gonna go up. So the one thing that's super great about Milady is that the weapon is completely infusible. So you can have affinities on it. You can do bleed, you can do cold, you can do fire, which really helps. So let's say if you're investing in faith, you can go for a fire build. You can go for a cold Milady. I think I have the bleed affinity on it. I just like playing with bleed, so I have the bleed affinity on it. And since it hits hard, you can also use Rotten Wing Sword Insignia and Millicent's Prosthesis to boost damage as well. I'm gonna go up and here we'll get the Wing Stance Ash of War. So now that we have the weapon, the talisman and the Ash of War, there are a few other talismans that you can use. They depend heavily on what your playstyle is. I have the blood affinity on my Milady, so I used a lot of Blood's Exaltation. It gives me 20% more damage when there is blood loss in the vicinity for 20 seconds. But if you don't have the blade affinity on your weapon and you have some other affinity, maybe you're going for a quality build or a keen build or even a cold build, you can use Rotten Wing Sword Insignia, which increases the attack power of your successive attacks by up to 13%. You can also use Millicent's Prosthesis. It also increases the attack power of your successive attacks up to 11%, but it also gives you 5 points in dexterity, and since the weapon scales primarily on dexterity, so it'll help you get 5 more points and increase your damage with successive attacks as well. If you're someone who does more R1s and R2s than the Ash of War, I would also suggest slotting in the two-handed sword in Talisman. It'll give you 15% more damage when you're two-handing the weapon. This does not affect your Ash of War, but it'll affect your R1s and your R2, so you get 15% more damage. If you're someone who also relies a lot on heavy attacks, the R2s on PlayStation, you can use the Axe Talisman that increases the power of your heavy attacks by 10%. In addition to this, you can use the Shard of Alexander if you have a playstyle that favors using the Ash of War more. It'll increase the attack power of your Ash of War, the Wing Stance, by 15%. Now for the moveset, so we're going to do the R1s first. As you can see, they're quite quick, which means, you get successive hits. Then the R2 heavy attack, then the Ash of War with the heavy attack, and then the Ash of War with the light attack, which are 3 swipes. I find these super helpful because you get a lot of damage through these. Just one more time, the R1s. The R1 combination is pretty cool. And then the Ash of War and the heavy Ash of War attack. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want more Elden Ring content, you can click on one of the cards on the screen right now. And for more dumb ways to game, please do subscribe.